Hey friends, it's Joe from DadBod. Today it is around 73 degrees in Tokyo and it's 5:06 in the morning. It's day 101, which is super cool. I'm back, so I'll catch you up on what's been going on with life. We got a 2-mile recovery run. I might walk a portion of it. Let's get going. All right. Well, hey friends, it's been a while since we've done this. How was your 12-mile run? How was your moose lift? I missed a little bit, okay? I'm sorry. Let's get to work. All right. Start workout. Ugh. Oh, it's been crazy. So, let me catch up. I'm gonna walk and talk for a little bit. My hips are a little apprehensive today. I'll probably get out on them, but we'll start mellow. So first of all, great work. Assuming you've stayed with the program. I know we did a couple jogs and things together before Kyoto even happened to just talk about decoupling your journey from my journey, and it's cool to see that with vacation. That was wisdom to encourage you to do so. I had every intention of recording a pretty epic long run on Monday, but our time in Kyoto is honestly quite beautiful, wonderful, but challenging, logistically. The first day out there, we probably walked a good 7 miles, and there's this place where you can feed monkeys. So you climb basically a mountain with steep stairs. We have 3 kids, ages 6, 4, and 2 with a pregnant wife. So I climbed an entire mountain holding baby Emiko while she was asleep. Really a precious time together, but also incredibly challenging. And I wasn't wearing the best shoes for it. And then from there we still walked the entire bamboo grove, another preserve. We walked all of Kinkakuji, which is a golden temple. So I think that was Sunday. Maybe that was Saturday. I don't know. We were gone. All right. I think that day was when I did the silly workout in the garden. I was trying to do planks and stuff on rocks, and then woke up my wife and just realized yeah, I can't work out here. You're on your own for strength, right? So hopefully you stuck with the program. Hopefully you made it to your own. These puffballs are always so strange to me. So walked a ton on that day, and then we backed it up with a crazy trip from Kyoto to Nara, which is about an hour. We walked and saw these deer where you could buy these biscuits and you could feed the deer. It's really cool. Whew. Happy I'm walking. I'll probably jog after we catch up. I'm still not 100%. We're maybe day 11 from COVID, so I missed all that. Recovery has still been a challenge for the fam. We still got the mucus and the cough once in a while, the fatigue. So taking it easy still is good. But we didn't take it easy on vacation. So we loaded up our stroller, pushed our kids out to Nara, saw a whole bunch of deer, then took an hour worth of trains from Nara to get to Osaka, walked around a park. Whew. Decided to jog up these stairs. It's too loud. All right, so then, nah, still gonna walk it. So we like took a train to Osaka, and every time you take a train, there's multiple trains first of all, like we have a stroller, we got 3 kids. At one point or another, they all pack on the stroller, so we end up pushing them all. It's a 2-seater, so I could put like my son on one seat, middle child on another, pick up my youngest, and there's like a drink rack on top with cup holders and sit her on the cup holder. So I like got them all loaded. Anyway, we go to the park, we decouple from our friends, and then we go to Osaka-jo, which is like a beautiful castle. Everything's going great. To get to the castle from the station is like a 21-minute trek. So it's a pretty long walk around these kind of imperial looking gardens. Beautiful. Our friends from the US are taking pictures. And then we have a plan on how to get from the castle to the next stop. We're gonna go to this place called Dontonbori, which is beautiful. It's has all these eccentric street signs. Actually, you've seen it. I think I did a run in front of Dontonbori, and I did that silly workout in front of Osaka Castle. I think that's like week 4, week 5. So, right at the spot where we recorded that Osaka workout, torrential downpour dropped out on me and the family. And like, to put in perspective, like, we had made it to the castle with no umbrellas because like the sky looked decent, but it was a complete like thunderstorm, full intensity. 3 kids 6 and under, completely soaked, running these gardens, pushing them on a double stroller hopelessly because we were all just completely drenched. Socks, everything, no backup clothes. And keep in mind, we're in Osaka, so like we're an hour from our Airbnb and we're trapped by public transit. So we end up like seeking sanctuary outside the station in front of a baseball park after running in the cold rain for 21 minutes. And we're still like recovering from COVID, so my wife's and me were just like naturally anxious about the kids getting re-sick because we hadn't been sleeping well, we'd been running pretty hard, and then this rain hits, cold wet kids, really bad day, you know. Oh, I've missed chatting with you. This is fun. Had a lot on my mind. So we get to the station, and then my wife stays outside the station with a little bit of rain cover. The kids are still at this point playing in the rain. They got over the meltdown and the sad because it was one of those moments as a family where like the only path is through. Like, no one can save us. We are in the middle of this garden. Everything's closed, so nobody's going to be able to get what they need. You know, it's just, spiders. Jeez. I hate spiders. Well, you know, I don't mind spiders if they keep their distance. I don't like walking through their webs. This is really good because I've been in a different pair of shoes all week doing this. So my feet are grumpy in my running shoes now. So it's good to work back into these and get used to it. Ah! Oh, I just took a full net. Right through the face. I mean, is the spider gonna kill me? Probably not. It's just the feeling. Like, spider web on face is always bad. Never a good day. Chesty. My coughs are still a little phlegmy. Still trying to find good form. How do you say So, torrential downpour. Family's trapped in the rain. Super cold, super wet. I go into like a train station, basement level lower, find a Lawson, which is like a konbini or convenience store in Japan. And because it's next to a baseball stadium, there's like a whole bunch of like t-shirts that are too small for me and my wife, too big for the kids. But I'm able to buy like more than we need to wear so we can use some as towels, bring all the kids into a bathroom, start drying them off, change them into these oversized gown t-shirts. Baby Emiko completely rebels against these shirts. It's just cold, wet mess. My wife's uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. Kids are uncomfortable. But we get them like pseudo dry, but their bottoms are still totally soaked. Load them up on the stroller. And then take a train one stop to another mall, navigate the elevators. And we're able to find this place called Uniqlo. Uniqlo is like, what would you call it? Like Kohl's in Japan. It's just a clothing store. They didn't have any kids clothes, so we were originally looking for kids clothes for them. Eventually we just pushed them around enough that their bottoms dried. Felicia's able to find a new outfit that kind of fit. I couldn't find anything, so I just walked until my clothes dried. Did buy socks, changed those out. I mean, they got wet again from the shoes, but it helped a little bit. So now you're looking at like 3 hours post cold and wet. We were planning on going to Dontonbuli for dinner. That got utterly scrapped. Hop on an hour train back to Kyoto. Get lost at Kyoto Station. Pushing these tired kids. My wife is also like 5 months pregnant, 4 or 5 months pregnant. So like she's incredibly fatigued. Eating schedules are irregular. Stop at a konbini to get a couple items of food. Get back, and that was Sunday. So absolutely brutal. Still fun, but like we just packed too much. Oh, story time is so great. So anyway, Monday morning, my aspiration was originally like I was gonna run 3 miles, go to Fushimi Inari, which is these beautiful Japanese archways. There's thousands of these archways. And that was gonna be like a 5-mile trek to the top and back, and run the 3 miles back. Like I was gonna give you like a nice 10, 11 miles. But the Airbnb we were in wasn't safe. Kids were waking up earlier than Felicia. Didn't want her to get like stuck in that situation. And like Emiko had fallen down the stairs because they were super narrow, so she had a big shiner on her right eye. This trip in Kyoto is a hot mess, friends. It gets better. Hang with me. So I'm also sore. This is a good walk. I'm trying to find my form and my breath. So like I was gonna go and hit that 10-11 mile run. I woke up at 4:30 ready to do it, and my immediate discretion was like, I'm not recovered from the last 2 days of climbing Monkey Mountain and running around wet. I'm still post-COVID. The kids are waking up irregularly. My wonderful pregnant wife is just exasperated. The beds hurt. It was literally like all the things were stacked, and I was like, I can't even get on camera to tell y'all to go work out. Like, because it'll wake all the kids up. So that's why Monday didn't happen. And it was raining on Monday also. And I was like, cold plus wet plus post sick plus sleep deprived equals more sick. So it's a long story to tell you that I hope you enjoyed your 12 miles. I hope you've challenged yourself. You've got it done. I've half landed on the discernment that I might record some of these workouts as like makeups after the half marathon, just because it might be helpful for people that really do need the program. And I've kind of missed out on the moose lifts. Like yesterday I wasn't able to lift, so I'm all twisted, weak, and I have been eating like a fast moving dumpster, having a little bit of alcohol at night, which now that I'm 30 doesn't work with me. I think it's one of the things that's gonna be one of the first things that just goes. Like my body's like, nah dude, I can't process you and then wake up in the morning without feeling go be an adult. But it gets better. So Monday, oh, a nice sunrise. I've missed this. So Monday we were gonna do that run. Didn't happen at all. But we had put on a total of 11, 12 miles the 2 days prior while carrying or pushing the weight of all of my children. So I've still been active, just not with you on camera, right? It's really good for me to get out and do this. Oh, I've missed you, River. Monday, we wake up, we decouple from our friends because they went to Fushimi Inari. They got trapped in the rain again on a huge mountain hike. So right call with that, check, let them go explore Kyoto. And we were like, let's pick an easy day. Let's go to the aquarium in Kyoto. By the way, aquarium in Kyoto is awesome. They have salamanders and jellyfish and dolphins. Those are kind of the three big things they have, as well as penguins. I don't understand why penguins always end up at aquariums. They're birds, although they swim, so maybe that's why. But like, why can't aquariums just let zoos have their thing, right? Penguins belong at the zoo. Shouldn't they belong at the, I don't know, I'm too tired. Okay, so we take a taxi, it's raining. We get out of the taxi, we walk maybe 15 minutes to get to the aquarium, buy our tickets, everything's all hunky-dory. We're ready to like get going. I check my pocket because I'm, you know, pretty meticulous about stuff like that. I was like, oh my God, where's my phone? Yeah, remember, we live in Japan, okay? Solving problems like this is harder, exponentially harder with a language barrier. And I use my phone as a crutch with the language barrier because it has live translation. It's a Google Pixel 7, affiliated link below. I'm just kidding, I don't have a link to phones. But I do appreciate the Pixel. And getting phones, just to add more context to the anxiety, is really challenging for us because we have a US number on a T-Mobile SIM card, a physical SIM card, and we have a Japanese number on an eSIM card. We have to purchase phones, paying them in full so that they're unlocked. And the way we've done that in the past is we purchase the phone in the US, move our physical SIM card, and then in Japan I have to go to an English speaking only phone place, make an appointment, like it's all the hoopla for them to add the eSIM to it and move my number. All of my work applications are integrated into the phone. All my grad school applications are integrated into the phone, as well as navigation and all the distraction of YouTube and Instagram, all the things. And So I'm like doing the pocket check, I don't have my phone. And then I'm like, Felicia, where's your phone? And we realized she left hers at the Airbnb. I was about 90% positive she left it. She was like 60. So we thought we were out 2 phones possibly in Kyoto, away from our Airbnb. It's just like turning out to be a hot mess, right? Ohagozaimasu. Gosh, I love Oji-san and Oba-san are the best out in Japan. I think we're almost to 2 miles. Yeah, 0.97. I'm gonna turn it back. All right, it's close enough. I'm sweating. So we had just bought the tickets. We got all 3 kids primed and ready to go. Aquarium is supposed to be a nice indoor experience of family fun, rest. And all of a sudden I'm like, shoot, we got no phones. And I, in the moment, was, yay, I was very confident that I had left it in the taxi. Like, that's just where my mind was. So I have a little receipt from the taxi company. I've never lost a phone in a taxi. I have no idea how we get to a taxi depot without a GPS, because neither of us have a GPS. Don't know how to call this place. Like, I have decent Japanese language ability, but phone calls are the things I can't do at all. Like, I need body cues, I need pointing. Most of the times when I get a phone call, I'm just like, hello, and they say mochi mochi, I say hello, then they give up and hang up. So for like 1.5 years of living in Japan, the only successful phone call I've done is ordering Chicago style pizza from a predetermined menu of options. Right? So I go up to the front desk, and we're in Kyoto, so like, your English competency of normative Japanese people drops off as soon as you go outside of Tokyo. Doesn't mean that people don't know English, but like, the farther you get away from the hub, the more that English stretches Japanese people, which makes sense. They speak Japanese, right? Tokyo's a little bit more metropolitan. The advantage of Kyoto folk, though, is like, they have a huge amount of tourists, so they have to deal with it. So anyway, I just went to the front desk with a prayer, and I was like, "Eigo daijoubu? Do you speak English?" They're like, "Nope." And I was like, "All right, we're doing this." And I was like, "Sumimasen, excuse me. Denwa," and I like make the phone sign up to my ear. "Denwa wo surimashita." I forgot my phone, because I don't know how to say lost. So I was like, forget is close enough. In a taxi, because I was able to say that, all broken sentences. Like 30 minutes ago, I give them the receipt. I was like, "Can you call?" And I didn't even know how to say call, but I was like, "Just please help." And they're trying to say like, "Does your wife have your phone?" I was like, "She forgot her phone at the Airbnb." So big nightmare, like 4 people scrambling, trying to like call the taxi company on my behalf. Super helpful, wonderful people making it work. And basically their answer was like, taxi company said call back in a little bit. So it's like, okay, like, can we go do the aquarium and I'll return in 2 hours and you keep the receipt and you can call back. And like, it just started this whole process of like, where the heck's my phone? The mindset I wanted to be in for this day is like, go enjoy fish with my kids. That's really what I wanted. Not figure out how to navigate a lost phone, a thing, but a very expensive, complex expat problem. I just didn't want my day to be that way, you know? Meanwhile, my wife took the 3 kids to a souvenir shop to give me a little space. We're about 20 minutes into this experience. I'm feeling the load of like, the kids are all primed and ready for fish. I don't want to be chasing this thing down. And it's at that point where I was like, take a breath, because this has happened to me before, where I lose something, something's misplaced, and I'm a very like process-oriented, controlling person. I try to like control and steer my future. Right? It's an area I'm working on. I don't know what enneagram I am. I'm the one with all the problems when it comes to control issues. So like, there's once a time where in Japan, we had done a whole missions trip for like 3 weeks. We're gonna get back to the phone, okay? This is some historic Joe time for you and me to process through. As we enjoy a recovery walk at day 101. It's wild. Y'all are doing great. Thanks for listening to my Joe podcast. Hopefully it's helpful. I wonder if I should turn this all into a podcast. I mean, the YouTube videos are helpful, but I bet some people just want to listen while they run. Although I don't know if anyone wants to listen to me. But, gosh. So it was our second missions trip to Japan. We had brought 2 high schoolers with us on our team. We had also just had Hezekiah, so he was 6 months old. We were burnt out by the end of this thing. Like, the pacing of the trip was just wild. Did tons of kids programs, English programs. We had finished in this area called Shingu, and loved the pastor, good guy, but like he ran our team into the dirt, back-to-back ministries from 8 a.m. until like 11 p.m. when it came to like planning and stuff. So anyway, hard, challenging trip. We had, I don't want to say escaped, but we had finished. We had one day in the clear where we went to Osaka, because Shingu's like rural Japanese south that's away from Tokyo. And our itinerary was to fly from Osaka to Tokyo, Tokyo to the US. And for some reason, our trip from Tokyo to the US, we had a ticket for me, Felicia, and the lap child. But the way we had booked online with Priceline, have some animosity with Priceline, because we had a lap child, the connection from Osaka to Tokyo, we only had a ticket for Felicia and me and no lap child. And because the way it was reserved, it missed all the language barrier and working with the front desk for multiple hours. Like, we got to there with at least 4 hours of margin to get on the plane and get home. And we were scrambling. They could not add a lap child to their itinerary because it was like booked through a third party. Like, the overall itinerary was JAL, Japanese Airlines, I think is what JAL is. I prefer ANA, by the way. Air Nippon is better. But this connecting flight was through Jetstar or something. It was a mess. And I just remember, like, at one point talking like to the front desk lady, we're like an hour in and realizing this isn't gonna happen. Like, we're going to miss our flight. We don't have money because we're all kids, even though I was in college, but it felt like we were kids. I remember looking back at the team of the 2 high schoolers that were just like exhausted from the trip, ready to go home. I just made eye contact and I was like, start praying. Like, I can't fix this. I can't control this outcome. We're going to miss this flight. And that just felt massive to us. I was supposed to return to work. It was all bad, right? But for me, like, because I have so much process and I'm so meticulous about tickets and flights and logistics and navigating that on behalf of everyone, it was just like a huge humbling moment for me to miss a flight with perfect preparation. Like, for circumstance to still overcome my mistrust of circumstance. So, long story short, like, we had to go up to this international flight desk, walk them through the logistics. At that point, my language was super lacking, so I just showed them the tickets, and I was like, Tascate. Because these were like $1,200 tickets a piece for a whole itinerary. We decided to stay together with the high schoolers. Future alerting, I would have just sent them on the flight. Like, get them home. So we were able to transfer most of the airline credit, which I didn't know. I'd never done this before. We paid a whole bunch of ticket change fees. They rebooked the whole thing through ANA instead of Jetstar and JAL. And it was expensive. We had raised support for the trip, but we ended up taking like pretty expensive personal loss, had to get overnight hotels. But we, it was interesting because as a team, we kind of had like an extra night just stuck at the airport, and we like putzed around and had dinner, and we realized like we kind of needed Sabbath. We kind of needed rest. There's kind of like a bright side we found of like, well, hey, that flight was a little bit too close to all the chaos we had just done in Japan, and coming from a faith context, we're like, maybe God just wanted to make us rest and kind of lift that responsibility. So, you know, fast forward to like the phone situation. I had the same feelings of lack of control, being fully dependent on the front desk people, a taxi company, not knowing how I'm gonna get a US SIM card to Japan if it's lost forever. Like, all the systems and processes I had put in place were breaking down, right? And I'm an engineer, so I'm supposed to have good process control. And I just remember like making myself pause for a minute and kind of remembering the look back of like time to pray, you know, time to figure it out. And I'd missed another flight before, different flight, because I couldn't find my ID. So I had to drive back home, missed it, had to rebook it. It was a huge mess. And when I got home and couldn't find my ID, I realized my ID was in my phone case because I'd run a half marathon the day before and put my ID in my phone case, which was outside my process. And my wife had told me, you know, like, hey, you gotta stop and take a breath. Because when there's like a potential missed flight or things like that and I get frazzled, I jump to the most extreme. My most extreme was, shoot, it's not here. Get back in the car, we gotta drive back. We gotta move this flight. We screwed up bad. And what I needed was in my pocket the whole time. I just couldn't see it because all my processes, control had broken down. It's a nice walk, friends. My ID was in my pocket the whole time. That was a fun conversation with my boss because it was a work flight. Business took an L on that one. So I'm at the aquarium and I'm kind of feeling the same way I did when we're about to miss the Japan flight. Similar feelings to when I was gonna miss the work flight. And I just remembered Felicia telling me like, hey, you gotta take a breath. You gotta think and take control. Check your pocket. Don't go to the farthest extreme. And I kind of realized, ooh, the hill's getting me, friends. Post-COVID. Ooh, am I gonna be able to run that half marathon next week? We'll see. Glad I walked today. Should be a flat run though, so I think, who knows, it's Japan. So like, I have this insight, realizing, well, hey, taxi, thinking it's in the taxi, that's really like most extreme outcome. That's like thinking, shoot, my ID's at home, I need to drive home right now, and I missed the flight. How do I check my pockets? And I was like, should I retrace my steps? Do I really know that it's in the taxi? after all this time. Meanwhile, it's raining outside. And you got anxieties at 10. So I grab an umbrella from the stroller and I run outside. And I'm like, I'm in retrace my step mode. I'm like, I'm gonna walk, I'll run in the rain, back to where I got out of the taxi, which is about a 15-minute walk. I run the path, don't see nothing. Go to where we got out of the taxi, because I was thinking maybe I had it on my lap. I was trying to get the stroller in the rain, keep the kids dry. Maybe it slipped on my pocket, maybe it got run over. It's not by the taxi. And then I remember from the taxi, we had walked to like this stall that had like these trains that were kind of motifed as like food stalls. And we hid under there in the rain for a minute just to get everything set up with the stroller. I check under there, no phone. Checking both of the restaurants there, no one had seen it. Walk out, and as I'm walking out, I remember that in that moment prior, right, this is like the insight that comes from our broken, anxiety-provoked brain that can't think. I was like, oh my God, me and Felicia were at this moment with the kids, and Felicia's like, hey, where's the aquarium? I don't want to walk around forever in the rain. I was like, you know, where is it? And I was like, instead of trying to figure it out, I had whipped out my phone and looked at the GPS, and I was like, I had physically seen it. I was like, I have been here with my phone in the past, because I know I looked at a map right here. And then like everything started like re-spinning in my brain of like, oh my God, we can figure this out. Oh my gosh, this is gonna work, you know? And I start looking around on the ground, because at this point it'd been like 35 minutes, right, of panic, of having the day I didn't want to have outside my expectations. Maybe this is where the story will lead us here. We're gonna get to the moral of the story. I'm looking around, it's raining. I'm realizing like, okay, the phone was never in the taxi. Now things are maybe more within my control to figure out. Maybe. I start looking around, and on a short fence post, and I'd run past it earlier because I wasn't looking for it, but on like a short fence post, like right here, I see my phone upside down in the rain. And I was like, oh my God, there's my phone. I was immediately elated. I go to pick it up, I flip it over. The screen is completely destroyed. Like, there's all these like garbage trucks and stuff driving around. So like, completely crushed. But I was like, in that moment of like looking at my shattered phone that had been rained on for 30 minutes, I was like, at least I know. And I worked the problem different than I could have. Could I have worked it even better? Could I have started with tracing my steps, and maybe it hadn't been run over by a car? Like, definitely something that went through my mind. If I'd been even calmer with my response. But what was really neat about it is during the first couple days of vacation, I was having a hard time decoupling from the phone. Like, I'm still checking to see what my grade was in grad school, for instance. I had checked a couple Teams messages or email, which was something I really didn't want to do. But I'm also using it to navigate with GPS from place to place and do logistics. So like, I hadn't been fully decoupled from it because it's so useful as a tool. So it was really neat for me to kind of have certainty of like, this is where the confusion and process ends. Here's your phone with your US SIM card that you can move to another phone. It's busted. Go take your kids to the aquarium. And that was really cool. And I felt the same way we did when like we had missed the flight, but we were still together and got to have dinner and relax and have a little bit of Sabbath before the flight the next day. And that flight the next day was better because they gave us a bulkhead in it. And Hezekiah got to sleep on the floor. It was awesome. It was a great flight. So as we prepare for this half marathon, moral of the story, maybe you missed your 12-mile run. Maybe you missed your 11-mile run. Maybe you missed both of them. Maybe you've been a little apathetic about the moose lifts because I'm not in my normal space working out my normal way. I can't give you perfect coaching because I'm navigating the needs of my family on vacation and friends in town, and they're not going away. We go to Hokkaido today, which is also a logistical nightmare. We got a 5-hour Shinkansen train, a whole bunch of other trains to get to the Shinkansen. We got to leave in 2 hours, and I still have to shower and feed the kids, finish packing. So hopefully I can be calm, take care of my needs, recover from COVID, and trust that I can still show up, be calm and collected, and run that race with you. And that you'll be able to do the same. We take hits. Life is complex, and it drifts outside of our control from time to time. So we got to figure out where we have power within our decision making, within circumstance, and what we let go of. And I think that's what this walk was for me, at least, is like, I wanted DadBod to be a great program. I want it to be helpful. I want it to be empowering. And those last 2 weeks leading up to the marathon are really important. And it was really hard for me to let go of providing you consistent workouts, consistent momentum, talking to you consistently. But it's really better in some ways that I've had to miss the long runs, that you've had to do it for you, because it means that after this half marathon, maybe some of this is gonna stick in the right ways, because it'll become your journey, right? I think that's what's important, is it's gotta become yours. So friends, may you be blessed. Don't freak out too much. Take a deep breath, go one workout at a time. I'm probably not gonna be able to do Moose Lift day 102 because I'll be in Hokkaido. I might be able to sneak a run for the fartlek. I'm really not sure. So finish out this week strong. I'll be with you on week 16, all right? See you around, friends.